Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 11 of What If Naruto Became the God of Wind. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Was Disowned by Everyone, and enjoy that guys. And I'm also going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was Given a Second Chance. So stay tuned for that, and I do hope that you guys enjoy. And later on I'm going to be posting What If Naruto Learned the Clone Secret in the Beginning. So stay tuned for that as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, and thank you all for your help and support, and remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah. What do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as the masked man, knowing that he didn't have the hidden stone under his control anymore, seeing that Onki was freed, and a new Tishikari had taken place, he wants someone else now. And he knew the perfect place where to find them. Meanwhile, as Sasuke was watching Kabuto pump all the drugs in Itachi's system, he used his Sharingan as he tried to bend Itachi to his will to get all the information that he possibly can. But it was hard. And he then asked Itachi why did he spear him? Why? As Sasuke was shown everything, why Itachi spear him? Sasuke then broke the genjutsu as he started to cry, as now he didn't want Itachi to die after seeing that he risked his life for a mission for the village. But it was too late, as Itachi told him that he will always love him, before dying right there. As Sasuke understood now after the masked man had come to visit him, as it seems like Itachi was used, and that village. Meanwhile, Naruto was on the Turtle Island as he explained to Yujito and Killer Bee what he wanted to do. After hearing about that, as Yujito wanted to free the Nibi as well, as Naruto went into his mindscape that night and he proposed to Natsuki, as she gladly accepted. When she left his body, Naruto would still have her yokai, so when she comes out she would be partly human. They didn't know how much yokai she would come out with, but Naruto would still have it, seeing that it has already circulated the body through the years. And if you should take that from him now, he'd probably die. So he will still have his regenerating power, and the Fox Yokai is still in his system to use at his will. As they then went the procedure. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Sand, as Gaara was being attacked, as Deidara attacked the village as Gaara started to battle him off, all the defenses were set up. As Gaara was able to protect his village from Deidara's blast, and drive a spear right through Deidara, stopping him before he could do anything else, but Gaara was already weakened after the battle. It was then Pain and Konoha then showed up. Gaara pulled a kunai. It was a 3-pronged kunai as he hoped that Naruto had finished with his training, as Naruto already went under the procedure to remove Natsuki from his body, as Gaara threw it up in the air. As Naruto arrived in a bright flash, he told Conqueror and the others to get moving, as he led Pain the 6 paths out of the village. Naruto quickly took on the 3 of them as he completely demolished them. 3 of them rather quickly as he activated his blood knife to the limit. The only 3 paths remaining were Tendo Pain, the Revival Pain, and the Absorption Pain, as they set up in a perfect formation so they can protect each other. But Naruto was going to wipe all of them out. They called Jiraiya Sensei as his own students. Naruto was furious at them. So yeah guys, so it's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across to the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? With a plan set in his head, Naruto summoned a Hyrule kunai to throw it towards the 3 paths before going through hand sign. The Hyrule multiplied and turned to 50 copies. The wind then picked up violently around the 3, as it absorbed the Hyrule in the wind and started to circulate around the 3 paths, as Naruto vanished in a white flash. Pain could see white flash all over the tornado as Naruto was moving from one to another. He raised his hand, almighty push his head, but Naruto vanished to another. Universal pull, but he just pulled a kunai. Pre the Pat raised his hand to absorb the technique, but he got sliced up on his hands not only wind, but kunais were traveling at fast speeds around them. As Naruto was watching, that Pain had to wait for at least 5 seconds before he can launch his other jutsu. As Pain then raised his hand, not wanting to damage his other paths, he couldn't do a full almighty push to blow everything away. So he aimed at Naruto. Almighty push, he said, but he failed once again. 5. As a Rasengan Shuriken was thrown towards the enemy as Predapat jumped forward to intercept it, as it was coming right out of the tornado storm. But it was just a hinge, as Predapat couldn't absorb it. It was a true Naruto, as he appeared right in front of Preda, as Naruto slammed both of his palms into his opponent's ribcage. As he forced the wind, the Predapat exploded from within, swelling up and then burst. As Naruto unsheathed his blade, he was moving incredibly fast, as he still had 2 seconds as he pointed his blade towards the Deva path and fired off a wind blade with no hesitation. The revival path pushed the Deva path away and took the blade head on. Naruto's sword went right through his heart, with the wind blades spreading out all through his body, ripping it into pieces. But the 5 seconds were up as Tendo raised his hand. Almighty. There was nothing holding him back now, seeing that the other two were dead. A sacrifice that needed to be made so he wouldn't lose his body. As he fired off a massive almighty push, sending Naruto sailing away as Naruto attacked disperse. As Naruto rolled for a long distance before stopping, as he was getting tired, using the Hyroshin and so many high level techniques. As Pain was also feeling the exhaustion, already using so much of the abilities from all of his paths. You're the first one to ever damage the 6 paths of Pain to such an extent, not even Jiraiya Sensei could go that far, said Pain. Don't you speak his name, Naruto said. You and your twisted goals are so far from what you wanted from this world, it's not even funny. Are you sure about that? Well then, hear this, said Pain, as he started to tell Naruto about his past and how he came to meet Jiraiya. So that is how your precious Konoha shinobis came to my home and killed everyone that I love. We both live hard life, Naruto said after hearing all of Pain's story. I don't know what to say after you just told me that. But violence is everywhere. But using violence to try to achieve peace in the way that you're doing it is not the answer. Then let us see if your idea of peace can stand up to mine. He then slammed his hands together, as Naruto could feel a surge of power when he released a small black spear as it flies straight up in the sky above Naruto. The ground then started to shake under his feet, breaking apart as everywhere was being ripped up. The sand and the stone was being sailed up in the air towards the black spear, as Naruto was being pulled as well. He tried to leap off, but Pain fired off an almighty push that smashed right into him, breaking the object, smashing him into another one. This is a jutsu said to be used by the Sage of Six Paths when he created the moon. Even you cannot escape from it. Pain then went quiet, as Nagato was coughing up blood, but he still had his hands together. He could not feel now as blood was leaking from his nose. Everything was being crushed and pulled towards it to create a giant spear in the sky. Pain then felt strange. Something was wrong, he couldn't hear anything at all. Everything started to feel empty. No sound could be heard, like everything was sucked into the spear itself. He started to look around as he saw Konoha and listened to where she was screaming at him, but he couldn't hear what she was saying. As he watched her point up in the sky as he turned his head to look up. As it was too late though. Ishibaku Tensei had exploded from within. Hundreds of stones were falling down towards him to crush him under the weight. He then heard something. Be honored. You're the first to witness my strongest jutsu, Naruto voice said from all around as Pain couldn't locate exactly where he was. Konon's eyes wide in shock as she saw Tendo, Pain, and everything that was falling down on him disappeared in a white flash without making a single sound. As the flash disappeared, Konon rushed over there. She couldn't understand why Tendo Pain did not understand when she was warning him to look out towards his exploding technique that was raining down on him, as the Jinchuriki did not get captured. Stop, Konon screamed. Please, don't hurt him any more than that, she said, as Naruto had his sword ready to cut off Tendo's head. As that body was different from all of them, that was the body of Yaiko. But right now it was covered by cuts lying on the ground, as it was unable to do anything right now. Aren't these guys just puppet to move as you please? Why this sudden attachment to this one? As he was surprised that Konoha would come so close to him, even after what she witnessed after their fight. This body come from my former partner and my best friend, Yaiko. He died to protect the both of us. This one is different from all of them, she said. As Naruto looked on at Pain. Fine, I'll leave this body alone, but I want to meet with you, face to face. Bring him to me, Konan. I will explain everything when you get there, Devapath said as he ceased to move, finally reaching the limits of his chakra reserves. She didn't really want to lose that body, so with no other choice, she agreed to lead Naruto there. Naruto removed all the rods that he had over the body, as Konan took the body away. As they set out towards the hideout with Naruto had his blade in his hand, ready to slice them both down, if anything. The group then reached a small cave covered by a light genjutsu, as Naruto followed, as she went in first. So, we finally meet face to face. Uzumaki Naruto said a voice as Naruto stepped inside. Naruto looked at this man. He seemed so familiar. Yes, he saw pictures of this man in the compound. Back in Konoha, right here, he was on a strange throne, a machine, with black poles coming out of his back. I guess this is a meeting between family members, seeing that we are distant cousins. What? Said Naruto. My name is Nagato Uzumaki. My mother flee from Uzu, the home of the Uzumaki clan, after the war. My parents chose to go towards the Hidden Rain, while your mother obviously chose to go towards Konoha instead. Why? Why are you with the Akatsuki, and why are you seeking out the Bijou's under axe? You said that your ideal of peace is different from mine. Let me tell you the entire story. I told you how I met Jiraiya, but I never told you the entire story of my life. Let me tell you now. As he told Naruto everything. He already told Naruto that his family was murdered by the Konoha ninjas while they were out there, while he was using Tendo's body. But he told Naruto about the other paths, meeting Yaiko and Konan, everything. And when Danzo tricked Hanzo to go up against them, and Yaiko sacrificed his life, and that is where everything started out. He would use his frail body right now because the Rinnegan required so much, taking so much from him. But it doesn't matter because he will use the power that he was granted to save this world and bring it into everlasting peace. So what would you have done if you were in my position? Nagato asked. I understand where you're coming from, Naruto said. I can't imagine to feel how you felt when you lost your parents to Konoha Shinobi, since I never knew mine. The death of your best friend was also a tragedy, but even then I'm sure Jiraiya Sensei would have never wished for peace to happen his way. Even now my hands are trembling because I want to kill you for what you did to Sensei. But killing you now will not bring him back. You would spare me, the one who took your master's life. Aren't you supposed to be the Shinobi Alliance leader? What would those people think of you if they know that you let someone like me escape? As Nagato fully expects Naruto to turn against him, I would take responsibility for my actions. I will explain your situations, and if they can't agree with me on this, there was no point of forming an alliance to begin with. This is my Shinobi way, and you cannot let me give up on it, said Naruto. As Nagato stood there utterly shocked to what he just heard, he lowered his head as he went silent for a few seconds. The truth is, you won't have to take responsibility for anything. I was just testing you. It seems you are the one. You're the one to follow on in Jiraiya's path and truly bring peace. The last jutsu I used took a lot out of me that I really couldn't afford. I will die soon, and you will remain as the last Uzumaki to walk this earth. Nagato, you can't be serious. We will live through this. We still have to bring peace to the world, said Konan. You can't just leave me alone. It's okay, Konan. My time has already come. I have tried my best to bring peace to this world, but I couldn't let go of my own hatred. He then turned back to Naruto. What was the last jutsu you used in our fight against me? I have never seen or witnessed anything like that before. The last jutsu I use is based off of my father's Harajuku, but instead of focusing on the time for speed, I focused on the space, where I became one with the wind, Naruto said. Breaking my body up into wind particles, I became entirely fused with the wind over a large area. It would create the feeling like time itself had stopped for anyone inside. Everything that is connected to the air element will fall under my absolute control. This is the pinnacle of ninjutsu, taijutsu, genjutsu, and kinjutsu, and fuinjutsu, all of them in a single jutsu. I am not sure it stands in terms of jutsu, but I'm pretty sure that's a SS rank. And I am without a shadow of doubt the only one on this earth that can perform it. Impressive, our clan has always been known for the creativity of many splendid jutsus. You are indeed a Uzumaki through and through. Before we part ways though, I need to warn you about one more thing. Time skip, Konoha, 1 week later. And that is how I defeated Nagato, my distant relative. And the leader of the Uzumaki Naruto said, I would have liked for you to be there to see that new jutsu I came up with. It's a real masterpiece. Nagato warned me about the true ambitions, what the Akatsuki seek by gathering all the Bijus. As Naruto then thought about what happened, as Nagato, he had died. His body was already deteriorating. And after saying a farewell words to Konan, Konan disappeared with both the bodies of Yaiko and Nagato, as she told Naruto that she would not going back to the Akatsuki. As Naruto had spent a night at the hidden sand before coming back to Konoha and explained to Tsunade what happened. Right now he's in his clan compound. Due to his status and being a clan head, he doesn't really have to go on missions like that. So once he returned, he hasn't really left his matter in the entire week. He just been at his compound. As Tsunade was the only one allowed inside. When his friends asked Tsunade about it, she said that he had a personal matter to deal with. As Naruto was currently sitting on a chair, as he was talking, looking over at the person on the bed, but she was asleep, morally unconscious. As Naruto didn't remember what happened when the unsealing went on. Flashback on the Turtle Island, day of the unsealing. The Shiki fusion was slowly fading away from Naruto's stomach, as a red cloak was around him, as the unsealing was going on. The pain was unbearable as Naruto was crouched over. He had to use every willpower to stay conscious, as it only lasted for 9 seconds, but because of the amount of chakra they were using and the stress, it felt like it was going on for a long while. When those 9 seconds passed, a bright light enveloped the entire area. When the light cleared, as Natsuki, she was lying down there, but the thing is she wasn't waking up. As Naruto started to sweat, as Yujito told him that she was unconscious. End of the flashback. That was a week ago, as Natsuki still didn't wake up. As Naruto explained the situation to Tsunade, she was pissed for him doing something so reckless. She couldn't remain too mad at him for long though, as she saw the state of desperation he was in and the way he was acting, as she felt sorry for him. She was the only one that he brought to the compound to visit, where Natsuki was, as Tsunade had scanned her. Tsunade had theorized after that loss of chakra, or yokai, that Naruto called it was most likely the cause behind her current state, as she was in perfect health otherwise than that. As Naruto was blaming himself, she wanted to wait, but he was the one that pushed for the unsealing. But Tsunade told him that it would only be a matter of days before her chakra reserves were filled back up and she would be up and running. But she knew neither Konoha or the Alliance would be able to count on him for the Alliance until she woke up though. Naruto had only went to the hidden sand to save one of his friends. Anything else would have to wait until further notice. Time skip. The hidden grass, a minor village. They were never that strong in the first place, but now they were being invaded by the hidden sound. Yes, their village was being pillaged. And none other than Sasuke Uchiha, with his newly developed Monkey Sharingan activated, was leading. The black flames of the Amaterasu was burning everything in his path. Controlling these new powers came to him surprisingly fast. He already mastered the Amaterasu and the Tsukiyomi. He was currently experimenting on a new jutsu though, the Susanoo. He still wondered why the masked man from the Akatsuki had provided him with scrolls and all the Mangekyo Sharingan abilities. But this was one of the recent success that the hidden sound has achieved. Orochimaru has always acted in the shadows, hiding behind the Lord of the Land of Sound to do his bidding. But Sasuke completely take over the entire surroundings, not just the village, but the entire nation. He would not bow before anyone, so he decided to remove the obstacle. Then he set his sights on the other smaller villages of Take and the hidden grass now. As Kabuto was leading the hidden sound in his absence, with the backing of Guren, Sasuke still held her adoptive brother Yukimaru, as he was subject Y. He was strongly sedated and kept in a secret lab, so she was loyal to Sasuke because of that. Sakura was told to remain in Take when it was conquered. With her medical ninjutsu, she must use the task of converting the hero's water into a substance that would serve Sasuke to create an army of chakra powerhouses, but she has to analyze it and modify the structure of it. Something less risky because usually if you take it, it kills you after a certain time. As Sasuke assigned Kimimaro, or formerly known as Subject X, and Jugo to stay there as well. Kimimaro had become quite attached to his savior Sakura, almost to the point of worshipping her. And Jugo was the original source of Orochimaru curse mark, with a mixture of Orochimaru blood, and he only accepted to follow Kimimaro. As Sasuke was currently with Suigetsu and Kari now. Well, that wasn't much of a challenge. Those people are weak, just like you, Karen, said Shigetsu, as they were currently in the office of the village leader. So why did you come in the first place, Karen asked. Would you too be quiet, Sasuke said. Give me some water, Karen, he said. Karen got up and went to serve him a glass of water. As she handed him the glass, he dropped it. Sasuke saw his hand shaking. As he saw, the place went grey, and then returned back to normal. Hey, are you alright, Sasuke? Asked Shigetsu. I'm fine. Mind your business, Sasuke said. It seemed using those eyes isn't as safe as I thought. I may need to give in to that man's proposal after all, Sasuke thought to himself. Time skip. Tsunade was currently in her office, having just visited Naruto and his new fiancée. She still couldn't believe that red-haired woman, Natsuki as Naruto called her, was the Nine Tails. It was still strange to her, but her chakra reserves are still pretty low. Tsunade couldn't understand why they didn't replenish faster than that, as she stomped a denial seal of another proposal marriage towards Naruto. Ever since the village found out about his heritage, proposals like the one he was putting aside was a daily occurrence, as Naruto made it clear that it wouldn't happen more than once. He even made Kurenai announce it in a council meeting as he still kept on coming back. Tsunade was about to reach for her next document when the door suddenly opened. Is there something wrong, Shizune? I am afraid so, Tsunade-sama. Orochimaru has perished. And how exactly is that bad news for me or Konoha, Tsunade asks? Because that is only part of the news actually. The one who took his life and has become the second Sound Kage is none other than Sasuke Uchiha. Damn that brat, said Tsunade. And damn that cursed clan too. How did we came up with this info anyway? Naruto is our current spy master right now, and with him out of service, there isn't much we can do to gather information. It's quite simple. He took over Taki and the hidden grass with his forces. He acted so fast. It seems like he completely went through Taki. They couldn't even send us a request for assistance. What do we know of their current activities? Asked Tsunade. Nothing much, I'm afraid. Their borders are completely sealed off after the attack. Not many refugees managed to flee from those villages. Very well, call for an emergency council meeting. Everyone has to gather in the council room in an hour. I'll go drag Naruto out of his house myself, Tsunade said, standing up. One last thing, Sensei. Sakura has been spotted in Sasuke ranks. This was a sore subject for Tsunade, her other apprentice, Haruna Sakura. It was a major regret that she couldn't beat the fangirl out of her. The girl held so many promises in the medical field. All of that wasted into a life to serve that damn Uchiha brat, as Tsunade clenched her fists. Meanwhile, at the Hinrin, Konan assumed the leadership of the village with Nagato dead, even if it was a secret for now. Well, they have always known her to be giving out the others, seeing that Nagato never really showed his face. She was the one that was always giving out the orders to all of them. The death of Nagato has been kept a secret. She didn't enjoy playing this part, but it was necessary for now. The last thing she wanted was for another civil war to break out, and war orphans like her to get killed, or left alone and lost their parents. The hidden range shinobis under Nagato's reign had become a force to be reckoned with. They were disciplined and always ready to perform their duties. Mistake was not acceptable when pain was leading, so everyone was used to getting their job done quickly and swiftly. Joni then entered her office with some important news, as he seemed nervous. Angel-sama, they are intruders inside of our border. What should we do with them? What are our god's orders? Did they show any signs that could tell us where they're coming from? Asked Konan. Their headbands show that they came from the hidden zone, my angel. Very well, intercept and detain them for interrogation, Captain. As you command, the man said Yabao as he left. Konan was surprised at news of them coming here. Was quite strange, as she wondered how they managed to go through all of the smaller villages and the nations that stood between them. She knew that they were not the first ones to be attacked, but they were taking a leap coming all the way out here. Meanwhile, at the border, Sasuke and his men were traveling at great speed towards their new target, the Hinrin, as he was escorted by Shigetsu, as Karen was chosen to remain in the hidden grass. They were going to fight in an era where water would be everywhere, so Shigetsu's abilities would use good here. But Sasuke had to leave some of his troops and captains behind each time he switched to a new target. It was not really an issue up till now because the other villages were just minor villages and they can easily be conquered if you have the right amount of man and power. And not to mention, he has visited Taki in his younger days. And also, Karen knew the hidden grass at the back of her hand. She grew up there after all. But the hidden ring was different completely. They had no information about that village. But Sasuke was still confident in his abilities No one has offered him a decent child so far, since he got his monkey to Sharingan. Any news from the scouts yet, Setsugetsu? Asked Sasuke. Still nothing. They left some time ago now, said Setsugetsu. Useless fools. Do I have to do everything on my own? Sasuke said. He didn't really care about his man. As long as they get their job done. We should arrive in 1 hour. Do you have any information on them? Asked Setsugetsu. Only that. This man from this village, some time ago, he defeated Orochimaru and Jiraiya and Tsunade and gave them their title of Sanins. But he should be old right now, and his successor will not stand in our way, said Sasuke with a smirk, as he was pretty confident he could win, and destroy everything in his path right now with the power that he possesses. Meanwhile, in Konoha, Tsunade had managed to get Naruto out of his compound, as they were now in their respective seats at the council room. We should reinstate Sasuke Uchiha for taking out the highly deadly criminal of Konoha, said a civilian member, after the news was told to everyone. No, said Tsunade, the order will remain unchanged. If any of our ninjas come in contact with Sasuke Uchiha, he shall be treated like none other missing names, and to be detained, and if impossible, then elimination is authorized, said Tsunade. More civilians were arguing, not happy that Konoha would forsake the Sharingan, as Naruto was tapping his finger on the table, because this was just pissing him off hearing them talk. It was just getting him angry because he wanted to leave here and go back towards Natsuki's side at the compound. A compromise here, maybe to please everyone, said a voice. It was Danzo. Remove the killing order, and once we capture him he shall be permanently detained. His chakra and his Sharingan completely sealed off. I can also offer my assistance in keeping him as a prisoner in one of my treatment centers from him meeting the rest of the Konoha population, Danzo said, getting nods of approval from the civilian side. That's not gonna happen, Naruto said as he finally snapped. What did you just say, boy? Danzo asked. Are you deaf, old man? Said Naruto. I said it isn't going to happen, so you can forget your dream about creating an army of Sharingan wielders loyal to your twisted ideals. No one in the council was a fan of Danzo and his secret teaching ideas or his beliefs, but Naruto outburst surprised them. Before anyone else could say anything else, Naruto spoke once again. Actually, I would like to take this opportunity to bring up some sensitive information I've been made aware of in front of this council. As the thing I'm about to reveal is highly confidential, I will need everyone that is not above the Jonin level to leave. And that includes all of you civilians as well, Naruto said. Hokage-sama, one of the civilians said, as Tsunade turned towards them. This does not concern you, you may leave, she said. As they were escorted out with grunts and snarls. So what is it? What did you learn that was so important? Namikaze-san asked Shikaku. Before anyone could say anything, Naruto vanished out of his seat. He appeared behind Danzo and slammed a paper in Danzo's back, pinning him to the table before going through hand signs as he slammed his hand on the seal, as chains burst out of it and wrapped around Danzo, completely trapping him. What the hell, Naruto, Tsunade said, gotten up from her seat. I was told an interesting story about our little friend right here, Naruto said. You see, it was a tale of someone with so much ambitions that he would do anything for more power. Danzo here has been conspiring against Leaf and his last 3 leaders. Lies, Danzo says. He struggled to get up as Naruto was holding him down. I will always serve the Leaf, he said. He couldn't channel any chakra and he couldn't even move. Naruto-kun, he's been bugging me for decades too, but you can't just attack a citizen from Konoha like this, said Sarutobi, as he was now the only elder in the council. Actually, according to the chart of the Shinobi Alliance leader, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, has the authorization to act against any threat that regards the Akatsuki, Naruto said. That's true, Sensei. Only a vote from at least 3 of the 5 Kages can overrule Naruto talk. But Naruto, do you have proof of what you're accusing him of? But you won't like this at all, said Naruto, as he grabbed onto the bandage of Danzo's face. Danzo started to struggle, but Naruto ripped off the bandage. As Naruto then grabbed onto the sling, ripping it off of Danzo's arm as everyone watched. When Naruto was finished removing everything, all of them looked on in shock. Even the arm looked pretty strange too. Only Tsunade and Sarutobi understand that part about the arm, but the rest understand as they looked at the Sharingans. You would fall this low, Danzo. You've been working with Orochimaru and helping develop his 6th jutsu since the beginning. As Hiruzen was disappointed, but Tsunade was furious as she looked at the arm. You traitor! How dare you, she said. So you were the one who desecrated the tomb of my grandfather. "You bastard!" Anvu, she called. "Take him to a secure cell and have Ibiki immediately interrogate him. This is a priority mission. Do not fail me." As her Anvu took Danzo away. "Is there anything else we need to discuss while I'm here?" Naruto asked. Tsunade did not that Shizune stepped forward and placed a map on the table. "This is the current situation. As the hidden stone has conquered Take, the grass, and now they're moving on towards the hidden rain." Naruto looked at the map before his eyes narrowed. "Sorry, Bachan," he said. "Sorry everyone, I gotta go. This is an emergency," as he vanished in a white flash. At the hidden rain, the buildings and trees were burning. Even though the rain was falling, as Konan was standing there, she was out of breath and she was tired. In front of her was Sasuke as his curse mark was at the second level, with his Mangita Sharingan shining brightly. He had numerous burn marks all around his body that was slowly healing. More and more Sound Shinobis were approaching their position. She was the only one standing from the hidden rain right now, as the others were dead. Contrary to belief, Sasuke was smart, as he did not send in the bulk of the forces. It seems like they had been waiting. Suigetsu was a big part in all of this though, taking them out as he was able to use the water as a big gain in this. "I have to admit your village is the strongest and toughest challenge we have come across since the other villages. Nevertheless, you will fall in front of the Uchiha might like everyone else," Sasuke said. "Kill her," he said, as his man charged towards Konan. Konan stood there. "I can still use that jutsu, even though I prepared it for Madara," she thought, as she looked around seeing them all coming. But suddenly a massive wind burst filled the area. Suddenly, all of the stone ninjas then exploded in a gush of blood. "Naruto," Sasuke said. As Sasuke was confused, he saw that jutsu, but he couldn't copy it. Naruto released wind particles in the air. When his jonins around inhale it, he forced the body to exhale even more with his power inside of them, making them burst. Konan started to fall as her body was already at the limit. She was only had one jutsu prepared that was left for Madara, but she was too exhausted to do. But she was caught as Naruto let her rest against his shoulder. "So that's Konoha, god of the wind, huh? One of your old classmates, Naruto Uzumaki no Mikaze. I always want to try my swords against him, since he's also one of Kiri, swordsman," Suigetsu said, joining Sasuke. "And here I thought that I would pay a visit to a former accomplice of mine," said a voice, as everyone turned to see a vortex behind Sasuke and Suigetsu, as someone stepped out of it. "Madara, Uchiha," said Konan, as she saw Madara coming out of the portal. As Naruto looked at the newcomer who was behind Suigetsu and Sasuke, him wearing the Akatsuki clothes and the orange mask. Madara Uchiha. It took Naruto by surprise as he remembered the things that he read about that man. "Naruto, that's Uchiha Madara. He's also the one leading the Akatsuki organization in secret, as an agent code named Tobi. Remember, Nagato warned you about him. Do you know where he stands in terms of power compared to Nagato?" said Naruto. "Well, we know that he's stronger for sure, but to what extent, it remains unknown to us. He can use space-time techniques as well, just like you and your father. He has the ability to phase his body out for the maximum of 5 minutes. During that time, he cannot be touched by any physical attacks. Finally, he possesses unknown Sharingan powers as well. Make sure you don't look him in the eyes. He's the one who put the hypnosis on Yagura, and also the third Tishikage." As Naruto narrowed his eyes, no one up till now had been able to use space-time ninjutsu against him, as he knew that Konan was tired, as it would be difficult to fight these three off, and watching out for her as well. "It's been such a long time. We finally meet again, Naruto Uzumaki," said Madara. "I don't think that we've met. I'm sure I remember that mask. Can't blame you. You were just born the first time we met. Maybe I should have killed you instead of just your parents on that day, seeing how much trouble you have become." The people were surprised as everyone knew that the fourth lost his life against the Kyuubi, so to hear that this man was there and responsible. "So you're the one who used the power of the Kyuubi that day, and forced my father to seal it inside of me." As Naruto wouldn't tell them anything about Natsuki and that she was free, even though he still had all the power sealed inside of him. As Madara was surprised that Naruto didn't charge at him in a fit of anger, he seemed to be much more level-headed right now, as Madara knew that Naruto was dangerous of all the things that he had done so far, and not to mention he couldn't afford to lose Sasuke. Sasuke was important to his plans, and Sasuke was currently too unstable, and there was only a matter of time before he snapped and charged at Naruto. But Toby didn't come here for this, he'd come to retrieve something for his plan. We have to get out of here, Konan, said Naruto. As he couldn't fight with her in this state, they would surely go after her, and he would hesitate. Not to mention, if this Madara is as deadly as he is, and plus Sasuke, who has those eyes, and not to mention that other one with the sword over there. We can't leave. You're here for Nagato's body, she said. Well, she knew that Madara was. Look, I've seen the village on my way in. Almost all of your shinobis have died. The civilians had fled after all the chaos. I promised Nagato that I would protect you. And I don't want to fail my cousin's last wish, said Naruto. Meanwhile, at the Namikaze compound, as the only person that can step inside the compound except for Naruto right now was Tsunade. But there was someone stirring inside the bed. As Natsuki stirred, she opened her eyes and found herself in an unfamiliar place all alone. She was confused. The last thing she remembered was Naruto screaming, as this unsealing was Naruto, she said, jumping up. But she instantly fell back down, dropping right on the floor. She was unable to move her legs well, as she had to crawl back to the bed. As she looked around, she saw a picture frame, as on the picture was Kushina, her former container, and also the man who sealed her inside of Naruto, Minato Namikaze. What is going on? Why am I here all alone? And where's Naruto? She said. She tried to access her yokai, but she couldn't feel it. Either they were depleted, or she didn't have yokai anymore, as both her and Naruto knew that this was a possibility after the sealing. She then decided to try with regular chakra. The sensation was new to her. However, since she was the one who taught Naruto how to access and channel his chakra, the memory of how he did it was still engraved in her head. As she knew if she didn't have any yokai left, then the only possibility for her to be alive, she must have another source of power, chakra. Like an infant taking her first steps, she was able to move her legs. As she wondered, what is she now? Was she still a demonic entity? Or did she become a human? Maybe a little bit of both, like a Jinchuriki. When she finally had proper mobility, she decided she will go take a bath. Since she has this new body and whoever were taking care of her must have just taken care of the basic feels. Plus taking a good bath would relax her a lot. As she went to go take a warm bath, as she relaxed into it. As she went to go and look through cushion and stuff after taking the bath, as she found a nice gown with her obi that wrapped her in her waist as it was red just like her hair, as she went to find underwear and shoes. Once fully clothed, she decided to explore some of the memories that she had from Naruto, the sheer memories she knew of the house and the mechanism. Creating a body inside for her made it possible so she could access every seal possibly inside the house, so she could get back in if she leave. As she stepped out of the compound, stepping in Konoha for the first time ever since that attack 17 years ago, on her own two legs. Well, she was different now, a lot different. Back at the Hidden Rain, it was difficult for her to just jump from the Hidden Rain to Konoha since they were a great distance away, as Konan was curling on his back as he was carrying her. I'm sorry. I don't want you to risk your life for me. To make it even worse, I am a burden to you. And you can't even fight properly, she said. You're not a burden to me, Naruto said. And I launched a pretty strong genjutsu to feel around the both of us until I can use my technique again. Not even those eyes of theirs would get them to find us. Meanwhile, with the Sound Shinobis and Sasuke, we'll have furious Sasuke. How the hell did they just vanish in front of us? My eyes couldn't detect anything, Sasuke said in anger. No idea. Maybe he used that high-rushing thing, said Sugetsu. No, he did not, said Toby. Then what happened, Sasuke said. How did he just disappear like that? I've been told by a spy of mine that Naruto can use several genjutsu that can even fool our eyes. I thought that was the reality, but he just proved it right. Toby was cut off when Samehata and Sasuke blade phased right through him as they tried to kill him. You're still as predictable as ever, Sasuke. When you're ready to talk, come and find me, he said. And with that he sucked himself in a swirling vortex as Sasuke grunted. Meanwhile, Konoha, delicious. So this is called Dango. I love it, said Natsuki. Would you like anything else? Asked the waitress. No, I'm okay, thank you, said Natsuki. Okay, that will be 10 toast Ryu, please, the waitress said. As Natsuki was surprised, forgetting that she had to bring money with her. The concept of money was strange to her, but she remembered that Naruto used it to buy stuff. As the waitress saw the look on her face, as she realized that Natsuki couldn't pay for a meal, she had no other choice but to call for her boss as the man came out. The boss was about to call ninja police, as two familiar faces came behind him. Hey, what's the matter? I've been waiting for my dango for too long, said Uncle. You're just a child, Uncle, said Kurnai. Ah, perfect timing, uncle. I got a customer who ordered 10,000 Ryu of Dango, but she can't pay for the bill. I was going to call for a ninja, but seeing you guys are here, you maybe can help. As uncle looked at Natsuki. For her to just take Dango like that and didn't pay for a meal. But Kurenai didn't spoke. Where did you get that yukata, miss? As there was a namikaze crest on Natsuki clothes. I'm so sorry. I forgot to bring money with me when I left Naruto's house and Natsuki. As Kurenai and uncle were surprised when they heard Natsuki called that name, having been selected to attend meetings for him when he wasn't there. As Kurenai know the namikaze crest well. Are you related to Naruto Uzumaki? Kurenai asks. Yes, he's my fiancé. Are you a friend of Naruto-kun? Where is he? Please tell me, said Natsuki. As Kurenai was surprised. Kurenai paid for the bill. I think we have things to discuss. Come with me, please. I'll lead you to Hokage-sama. She will know where Naruto is. Meanwhile, in the rain, Sasuke was currently sitting down in Pain's office. I am still too weak. That blonde idiot used techniques I still couldn't comprehend. My eyes are getting worse with each use of the Manipulator Sharingan. I won't be able to go up against a hidden leaf in my current state. Sugetsu entered the room as he handed Sasuke a scroll. There's an emergency scroll from Kabuto, you should read it immediately. Sasuke read the scroll before he clenched his fist. Bad news, I guess, said Sugetsu. Seems that the leaf found out about Danzo's little dirty secrets and his involvement with my former teacher. I don't know what they plan to do with him, but he's my prey. I will be the only one to kill him. The elders has been on Sasuke's hit list ever since he learned the truth about the massacre. What's the plan? What are you going to do about it? We don't even have enough troops to face Konoha, much less the entire alliance right now. Sasuke grit his teeth in frustration knowing that Sugetsu was right. He also remembered that his Sharingan was getting unstable, as he remembered Tobi or Madara words to him to join forces. You're in charge, Sugetsu. Close the borders, rebuild the defenses, and report to Kabuto once you're done, Sasuke said, as he made his way towards the exit. Wait, what about you? Where are you going, Sugetsu asked. I'm going to get some answers, Sasuke says. He left the office, leaving behind Sugetsu. Below in the city, as Tobi appeared in a tomb, there was a lot of flowers there, peacefully laid the body of Nagato and Yaiko. She did a really good job at hiding you, but I still found you. She forgot, in her haste, that you still got some of those chakra conducting device attached to your body. As long as I had one of those receptors used to control their puppets with, I could trace your presence back here. Now that I have the Rinnegan, all that I have to do is let Sasuke see things my way. Back at Konoha, Tsunade was not in a good mood, as Danzo had been charged with accusation of so many crimes, as he was the one that desecrated her grandfather's grave to perform those twisted experiments. Taking a single look at his arm, she could already see the mark over the Uchiha massacre as well. She had to find out that if that was only the tip of the iceberg, this man's organization route was like a cancer to Konoha, slowly spreading everywhere, even spreading into the Fire Nation. As a team that she has established to bring Danzo to the interrogation department had yet to report back. Then there was Naruto, someone who was even stronger than her here, the best person under her command. But he was unfocused and detached and lost, as she was the only one except for Killer Bee and Yujito who knew about Naruto's reasoning why he was acting this way right now. And Tsunade couldn't find anything wrong with Natsuki. As she sighed, she then heard someone knock at her door. Come in, she said. As she saw, Kurenai walked in with... Tsunade had to blink, as she saw Natsuki walking with Kurenai. Kurenai didn't know who she was, seeing that she was not freaking out. As Tsunade remained calm. Hokage-sama, I found this woman at Dango restaurant. She couldn't pay for a meal, but she said something about being related to Naruto, so I brought her to you. Kurenai reported to Tsunade. You did the right thing, Kurenai. Now dismiss. I need to talk to her in private. Kurenai nodded. Even though curious, she made her way out of the Hokage's office, as she could get some questions answered from Naruto later on. Tsunade then went through hand sign as Kurenai left, as she sealed off the entire room. As Natsuki just stood there, just looking at Tsunade, she knew that she couldn't act all high and mighty against her chakra reserves. Right now, it's nothing more than a academy student's level. Natsuki, said Tsunade. How do you know my name, said Natsuki. You don't need to be suspicious of me. I've been told the whole story by Naruto himself. As Natsuki relaxed, hearing Naruto's name, he did? Where is he, she said. Relieved that she found someone that she could talk to about Naruto. Relax, calm down. Why don't you tell me the last thing you remember, and I'll fill you in about what happened. As she motioned for Natsuki to take a seat, as she did. As Natsuki then told her about her memories of the unsealing ritual Everything matched up to what Naruto said to Tsunade before. Alright, everything seemed to be matched up with what Naruto said before. Now stay focused and don't interrupt me until I'm done, please. As Natsuki nodded, you've been unconscious for over a week since the sealing. And, as far as I can tell, you're in perfect shape. I found no evidence of illness or sickness in your body when I checked you over. I still don't know why your chakra reserves are so low, considering how much you used to hold in the past. This is something you'll have to figure out with Naruto. He went towards the hidden sand after the unsealing, as he successfully took out the Akatsuki leadership. He then came back here and didn't leave your bedside until this morning, since he learned something urgent. Something urgent enough to make him leave right in the middle of a damn council meeting, said Tsunade. As Natsuki understood that Naruto was fine. Now that that is out of the way, there's something else I want to talk to you about. What do you want to talk about, Bachan? Said Natsuki with a smirk. As Tsunade's eyebrow twitched, but she calmed herself. Naruto is like a son to me. I want to know your intentions about him. I'm receiving dozens of marriage proposals for the Namikaze heir every day, from nobles and respective parties. Tell me, why should I allow him to be with you? Consider your history with Konoha. Okay, first of all, what's between me and Naruto is our business. He's a clan head, and he doesn't have to consult with anyone to choose who you want to be with. But I know that you're being honest and genuine about your feeling of protecting him. And Naruto is my soulmate, she said. I may have been the one to teach him how to fight and think for himself, but he taught me how to love. All I knew before I met him was hate and indifference to everything and everyone. Now that I know about this feeling that is love, I'm not about to let it go so easily. He proposed to me before we started the unsealing, and that was the happiest day in my very long life up till now, she said. As Natsuki, even though she was sure in what she felt, didn't know if this was the right way to answer Tsunade's question. She was Naruto well, like a mother figure, and his boss actually. And she knew that she stood no chance against the anger Tsunade at the moment, because right now she couldn't really do anything. As Tsunade just looked at her with a stern glare, but then he turned into a smile. Good, very good. I need a strong woman that can keep that idiot in line. I'm sure that we'll get along just fine, Natsuki. Come along, I'll get you back to Namikaze compound. We have much more to speak about and my work day is almost over. What is there to talk about, Tsunade-sama, said Natsuki, as she was surprised how quick Tsunade changed her mood. Wedding plans, of course. This will be great, said Tsunade with a smile on her face. As Natsuki, in her long life, she never felt so happy before. I'm coming, she said as she got up. Back in the hidden rain, as Naruto stood up and stretched. What's going on, Naruto? Are you okay? Konan asked. Yeah, said Naruto, I'm fine. I should be able to do it now, he said, as he stretched. How many people have you done this with? She asked. Well, Naruto mumbled something that she couldn't hear. I didn't hear you, she said. Well, this is actually my first time doing it with someone over such a long distance, said Naruto. I did it with other people, but in short distances. Don't worry, I trust you, said Konan. As Naruto nodded. Alright then. As he held on to Konan, the both of them then vanished in a bright flash. Back at Konoha, some time has passed. Tsunade and Natsuki were in the Namikaze compound, both of them doing different things. Tsunade was testing several samples of sake for her respective son's wedding to find out the perfect one, and there was a lot of them to drink. As Natsuki was checking over a mountain of clothes, suddenly she felt her finger twitch a bit. It was where the seal was that Naruto placed on her. Suddenly, there was a bright flash as she squinted a bit before opening her eyes. Naruto-kun? As Naruto had Konan in his arms, he placed her down, seeing that she wasn't feeling well after transporting the hydrogen like that. As Naruto scanned the room and noticed Natsuki staring at him, but Naruto didn't notice Tsunade as well. Bachan, he said. This is Konan. She was one of the 3 Rain orphans that Jiraiya had protected in the past, doing the last great ninja warrior, said. Even with the protection of her paper bloodline, she suffered major burns all over her body. I need you to help her. As Tsunade looked at the woman, she saw that young little girl that gave her the origami flower as she made her way over towards Konan. But Jiraiya said that they were dead. Many things happened. I'll tell you all later, said Naruto. As Tsunade nodded as she picked up Konan. Tomorrow 9 AM, debrief in my office, be on time. And bring Natsuki as well, okay? As with that she vanished in a sunshine. As Naruto knew that tomorrow would be a long day, explaining everything, and also telling his mother figure about Natsuki and properly introducing her. But it then snapped to him as he turned towards her. Is this a dream? Are we still inside the seal? He asked. It was just... He felt so incredible in seeing her in the real world. It's not a dream, Naruto-kun, she said. I'm here with you. As Naruto stepped forward, I was so scared of losing you after the unsealing, when you didn't wake up. I know, I could hear your voice every time you speak. I was in this body, but I just couldn't open my eyes, she said. It was so strange. As Naruto grabbed her and embraced her in a tight hug, as she hugged him back. But guys, it'll be in episode right here. For the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share this with all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.